The most important story I did at the Fifth Estate is undoubtedly the Montreal Massacre story.
A university campus was suddenly transformed into a war zone.
The killing of 14 young women at École Polytechnique in Montreal. Only women were targeted. I learned a few days after the event that my name was on a hit list, that the gunman had left women that he said he would have liked to have killed. Quebec women, some of them who were well known, the Minister of the Status of Women, leading unionists. I was a columnist at Presse at the time, which I was fairly high profile and publishing every week, often on women's issues. There was really no conceivable way that he could have done the plan, the École Polytechnique killings, and at the same time go around the city and shoot various women. That was sort of his last act of bravado. On December 6, 1989, Marc Lépine, a young 25-year-old man living in Montreal, entered l'École Polytechnique.
Before shooting, Lépine shouted, "I hate feminists."
It was the biggest mass murder in Canada's history at the time. One of the chilling details of that rampage is that he would make sure that men were out of the way. These were women in his mind that were taking the place of men.
Nadine and Sylvie Haviernick lost their sister Maude.
She's dying with fear, and she was alone, and this hurt me a lot.
He shot himself in the head right after stabbing to death his last victim to make sure he would have the last bullet. Trying to uncover who Marc Lépine was actually perhaps my biggest motivation in doing this story.
The Fifth Estate. Tonight, 10 years after the Montreal Massacre, Francine Pelletier looks into the world of mass murderer Marc Lépine.
From the time I found my name on Lépine's hit list, I have felt the need to get inside the man's head. An austere mother, an abusive father, a bitter and frustrated young man.
I think that is very significant, that it was women's liberation that he was after. It was a vengeance against what he would never get, not just professionally, but sexually and emotionally. In fact, I've often said that Marc Lépine was the first incel. He was the first involuntary celibate man that now they've organized. In the last couple of years, there have been murders from the incels. There's a crisis in masculinity. We're talking about it now big time. Who would think that 35 years later, this message would still be resonating, but it is.